it must be that one group has more evidence or better evidence. So if the ones who believe have better evidence, more evidence, you go with them. The ones who don't believe have better evidence or more evidence, you go with them. But turns out, exact same evidence, same quality, exact same thing. Then what's the difference? How does one person believe and one person not believe? So, there's an article, more like a chapter, or part of a chapter, well-known book of philosophy called The Road Less Traveled. And in this book, he has a phenomenal quote, a very important quote that helps to put together understanding what's going on over here. He says the following thing. Among the causes of the scientific tunnel vision, we always assume that scientists are objective, they're clear-headed, whatever they say has to be true. That's why people tend to believe them, even though they can distort the facts, they can do all kinds of things with it, they're constantly changing their opinions. And here he discusses a thing called tunnel vision. Tunnel vision means a very narrow perspective, a narrow-minded approach to a situation. And he's saying that scientists are also guilty of tunnel vision. We all are, but even scientists as well. I would like to discuss, too, the result from the nature of scientific tradition. The first of these is the issue of methodology. In its laudable insistence upon experience, accurate observation, and verifiability, science has placed great emphasis upon measurement because we want to verify the results. We want to be able to duplicate the experiment, to take whatever we see and whatever you said and whatever you claim and put it into the laboratory and put together an experiment and do the entire thing so we can observe it and we can make conclusions and observations and know if what you're saying is true. So it has to be measurable. If it's not measurable, we can't duplicate the experiment, can't observe it, can't know for sure if there's any true basis to what you're saying, to what we're claiming about the world. To measure something is to experience it in a certain dimension, a dimension in which we can make observations of great accuracy, which are repeatable by others. Of course, it's always the issue by scientific experimentation, because if we can't repeat the experiment, we can't know if in fact what you've done is true or just simply a random result. The use of measurement has enabled science to make enormous strides in the understanding of the material universe. But by virtue of its success, measurement has become a scientific idol. An idol. You worship it. To such a degree you become extreme about it. The result is an attitude on the part of many scientists of not only skepticism, but outright rejection of what cannot be measured. You understand the hypocrisy? You want to be truthful? You want to be honest about reality? And then you come back and you say that because I can't measure something, it can't exist, it's not important, it's irrelevant? As if that's the God over here? And God himself said, I made a world, it has to be measurable. If it's not measurable, it's not my world. He didn't say that. On the contrary, the spiritual is rarely measurable in any physical terms. It is as if they were to say, what we cannot measure, we cannot know. There is no point in worrying about what we cannot know. Therefore, what cannot be measured is unimportant and unworthy of observation. Says who? Eifu Katuv. Where is it written? What's the basis of that? It's pure denial. Because of this attitude, he writes, many scientists exclude from their serious consideration all matters that are or seem to be intangible, including, of course, the matter of God. Can't measure God. Can't see him. Can't poke him. Unimportant. Must not exist. Gives me life. Made the world. Runs the place. Gave me the brain to observe the world I'm scientifically dissecting. Gave me a soul. Everything. But I can't touch him. I can't taste him. I can't sense him physically. I can't repeat the experiment of God in the laboratory, at least not in physical terms. Spiritual terms, for sure you can. Physical terms, so therefore, it's not important to me, not important to you. Leave it alone. Like the generation of the flood. The other development that is assisting us to escape scientific television is the relatively recent discovery by science of the reality of paradox. Science is finding out that life is paradoxical. Things that we thought shouldn't be able to exist or coexist, in fact, do. 100 years ago, paradox meant a scientific error to the scientific mind. But exploring such phenomena as the nature of light, electromagnetism, quantum mechanics, and relativity theory, physical science has matured over the past century to the point where it is increasingly recognized that a certain level of reality is paradoxical. Resistant science, how could God have given the Torah Mount Sinai? How could there be a flood? I don't understand. I can't find the scientific numbers. I can't find the reality to explain things like that. Okay? It's paradox, not contradiction. Not to be disbelieved. Put it on hold. One day we'll find out. There's another aspect to this. Very important. Not so much to do with the scientist in terms of what he's discovering, but more to do with how he deals with information itself. Not so much since he went to college, university, and graduated and became a professional, but more to do with its upbringing when he was growing up. Says the following article. According to scientists, this action occurs very early in life, long thought to be a clean slate to which information can be added at any time. The brain is now seen as a super sponge that is most absorbent from birth to about age 12, around the age of bar mitzvah. Between 0 and 12, the child's mind is open. It's like a sponge, just grabbing, taking in, and absorbing. Information flows easily into the brain through windows that are open only for a short duration. Then the windows close, and the fundamental architecture of the brain is completed. A kind of irreversibility sets in, said Felton Earle, a child psychiatrist at Harvard University. In recent times, we've gained an even greater understanding of the brain and how it works, and now we know that the basic architecture of the brain is not as irreversible after the age of 12 as scientists first thought. However, it still remains far more difficult to adjust one's intellectual framework after that age than it is to do before the age of 12. This means something very important, and it explains why Judaism places such tremendous emphasis on chinuch banim, on the education of children from a very early age. We think that children don't think so well until they're older. We discuss important things when they're older, when they're already 14, 15, 16, 18, of course, which is too late. And we can't understand why they won't listen to us. Well, they're always doing things their own ways and making mistakes that we're trying to avoid for them. But Judaism says no, because as scientists and psychiatrists are finding out, the basic architecture that will determine how you will look at reality the rest of your life, no matter what you look at, no matter how true the statement is going to be, no matter how intellectual the discussion is going to be, your ability to be able to perceive it on the level of truth is based upon what happens to you and your learning between 0 and 12. The average person has 5 sources of input as they're growing up in the Western world. Education. And most of education, most of schooling, is designed to make you into a professional. It doesn't discuss the philosophy of life, the meaning of life, what's important, what's not important. That's up to the parents. And the parents say it's up to the school. So no one teaches it. But of course are your friends, who are the same age, making the same mistakes. And if you can't learn from them, of course, is the media. And the media is full of education about the wrong things in life. About make you believe that life is about things it's not really about. And make you desire to pursue things you really should be pursuing. And then, of course, it's experience, life's experience. And the psychiatrist's office are filled with people who could not resolve their life experiences when they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 15, 20, whatever. Going back in time, trying to rectify that, which should have been rectified much earlier, but of course, the die is cast. And now you want to look at the world in a truthful way. You want to be able to see God's world the way that God gave it, the way God created, the way God intends for it to be perceived. So Torah says you start at the age of 3, teach them the Shema.